What's up, KBFers? So here's the deal. I am here at the new office, and I'm working hard on developing a strategy for making this year the best year that we've ever had, and helping me help you make this the best year that you've ever had. So what I want to do is I want to kind of set the foundation up front to talk about that. And I apologize for the kind of the impromptu just posting this thing up. I'll try to do a better job to schedule these things, put the notification out on the communities tab and such. But there was an interesting message at church last night that I think not only applies to spirituality and your health with your faith, but just in life in general. I'm going to be sharing more about my faith and about all that kind of part of my life, as I should have been doing all along through this channel. But I want to talk to you about incremental progress. Okay. Incremental progress and how I'm going to help you become better anglers. Gene and I use the phrase, or Gene uses it, and I kind of piggyback on it. We use this phrase, teach the world to fish. But I think the biggest problem with the way some teachers, or most of us in general, have approached that is that we talk about these loftier ideas, and we talk about these little bitty, different types of fishing without making it makes sense to how they fit into the bigger picture. And so one of the things that I think that is a key to success in your financial life, in your physical life, in your spiritual life, your relationships, is to do incremental progress. You can't decide that you want to lose 30 pounds in a month, and then at the end of the month, be surprised that you didn't lose 30 pounds if you didn't lose, kind of 1/30th of it a day along the way. And so you have to ask yourself, what are the things that I'm doing to accomplish that? And how am I working to accomplish that? One of the things that I like to do in the wintertime, I still fish, but one of the things I like to do in the wintertime, probably more so than any other time, is to stock up on knowledge. I revisit very educational books like Knowing Bass. I like to visit websites and read the latest articles because those seem to be more timely than waiting for magazines to come out. I have archived magazines with articles that I've read that have done me a lot of good in the past by spring, fall, winter, summer, all those different seasons. And so I like to reread some of that stuff that I catalog in these big 3-ring binders to kind of get myself in the right mindset for the upcoming season. And so because I do that, I feel like I should be telling you to do that. And I don't think that we do a good enough job of doing that as influencers, YouTubers, content creators, whatever. And for the most part, I have taken a digital second approach, meaning I've got a show on Sportsman Channel. I've got a show on World Fishing Network. And then I own my business, kayak bass fishing, and a rod company called All Pro Rods. So that focus has been so divided that I've been just trying to whack-a-mole all of it. And what I'm doing this year is getting my life more organized. I'm getting, pillars in place of things that I have to focus on to be able to get better at all of those things. Because it's not just going to happen, right? And I do work harder than anybody I know, or at least I try to, and I pride myself on that. The problem is I got to work smarter, not just harder. So then I think about that and I say, well, how does that apply to you guys as the brotherhood, as the community, as fans, friends, subscribers, whatever you want to call it? And to be honest with you, it actually applies probably more so to folks that have a real job, and their time is a little bit more precious when it comes to how often they get to go fishing. I'm blessed. I get to fish, a lot. And so it's easier to do a lot of those things. It's a lot like the fitness people that do nothing but work out all day, and then they tell you, who has a busy life, all these things that you need to be doing, knowing good and well that you don't really have time for all that. So I'm going to take this new approach to being able to teach you how to sneak in knowledge, how to sneak in fishing tips, and how to sneak in fishing trips that you can add to your arsenal that have a compound effect, not just an effect where, in that one little tip, if you happen to remember it when you need to remember it, but more of a holistic approach on how to be a better angler. That's going to have a lot to do with being in better physical condition. I've dedicated myself to it. And I tell you, I got off track for a little bit during the holidays, and it was unbelievable how much difference my energy level was, the inflammation in my body, all the crazy things that goes along with it. So I'm sold. I'm not on a diet. I'm on a new lifestyle. It's not 100% keto. It's not 100% paleo. It's not just low carb. It's a comprehensive deal that I'm going to be talking quite a bit about through this season, because that adds to mental clarity. That adds the ability to focus. It adds to, your tenure and how long you can stay out on the water. And something else that I'm going to do very extensively this year is a back to the basics approach to, if I tell you that that I love a power pole micro anchor, one of the things I'm going to do is go back to say, but if you can't afford a power pole micro anchor, here's what you should use. I'm going to tell you how much I love my Bonafide SS127, but then I'm going to tell you about a price point version. So we're going to do that as a B2B, a back to the basics scenario. And a lot of times what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Christy to help me illustrate those points, because it's my job to push the threshold of the industry for kayak bass fishing. But I feel like to a certain extent, in some cases, I've lost focus on what it was all about to get into kayak fishing. And so I'm going to bridge that gap between your initial kind of introduction to the community, your tiptoeing effect into it. And then something else that I'm going to do this year, more than I've done in years past, because I'm known as the kayak guy, is I'm going to get back to by any means fishing, which is, fly fishing, canoe fishing, kayak fishing, wade fishing, bank fishing, boat fishing, whatever it takes for me to get on fish and to help others get out there and enjoy the great outdoors, this beautiful, wonderful, big old rock flying through space that God created for us all to enjoy. And, you cannot expect to do these one big thing or these two big things and this three big things and become a better angler. You 100% have to break it down into incremental success. I'll give you a perfect example. Years ago, I knew that jigs were a good fishing tactic. And believe it or not, early on in my career, I wasn't a jig guy. I honestly thought jigs were a marketing gimmick to a certain extent. I'd catch a fish here and there, but I'd never really taken the time to focus on being a good jig fisherman. And I went fishing with a guy who's a jig fisherman, and he wore me out. And I said, wow, there is something to this. Same thing happened to me with crankbaits. And to a certain extent, over the course of my career, since I learned those two lessons, I haven't had to relearn that lesson again in other manners. But here's what it boils down to, and what I'm trying to tell you. When I decided I wanted to be a better jig fisherman, I got nothing but jigs and put them in a box, and I went fishing with nothing but jigs. I fished with jigs for a couple of months where I didn't fish anything but a jig. I focused on becoming a better jig fisherman so that I was a better fisherman by adding that to my arsenal. I then later did that with crankbaits. And so once I became a accomplished crankbait fisherman, I say accomplished, meaning I could catch them at will. I knew when to use it. I knew when the best times were. I knew when it didn't make sense to do it. I knew how to finesse them. I knew how to power fish them. I knew all the ins and outs of crankbait fishing, right? And I still learned things about how to tie all this stuff together. But here's the point I'm trying to make. I focused on that for a couple of months or 3 months where I didn't throw anything but that, even in times when I knew I could probably fish something else, because I wanted to see if it was effective during those times, even if I thought it wouldn't be, so I could prove or disprove that theory. Fast forward a long time down the road, and I start having to catch fish on camera. So what do? I default to gotta get a fish, and with that, Senkos. Okay, Senkos and soft plastics is about the easiest, most guaranteed way to absolutely catch them when you have to catch them. So that become a bit of a crutch, right? So again, I've gone through this kind of renaissance, if you will, as an angler. I've been a fly fisherman. I've been a saltwater fisherman. I'm now the kayak bass guy. And all of those things don't have to be, separate verticals. And that's something else that I want to try to strive to do this year, is to bring the different sects, the different verticals of the fishing community together, so that there isn't this kind of, fisherman against fisherman stuff. There's enough people out there that are against us or trying to take our rights. We don't need to be against each other, regardless if we choose different types or methods of fishing. So I'm going to talk a lot about that in videos this year. I'm going to take a systematic approach to teach you guys how to break things down to the fundamental level. I'm going to reintroduce the Toad Trips series. If you've been around the channel for a while, you saw some Toad Trips videos where I did the overhead view of the lakes and this, that, and the other, broke down the reason where I was fishing, why I was there, what wind conditions made me fish that, what water conditions made me fish there, what sky conditions. and I did these big bass breakdowns. And so what we're going to do this year is we're going to bring that back. We're going to bring back that. It was a lot of work and it just got too hard to keep up with, but we're going to double down. Earlier in this live broadcast, I talked about the fact that I have always had a TV first approach. And the problem with that is that you have to shoot this content. It's 6, 8, 9 months before it comes out. And a lot of times it's not timely, meaning by the time it comes out, it's dated. It's next to impossible to reintroduce a topic at the exact time that it's beneficial when planning around broadcast schedules and all that. So we're flipping the script. We're going to a digital first approach, meaning when we go do a show, we're going to shoot 2 episodes or 3 episodes for this channel while we're shooting the episode for television. And that way we can get that content out quicker while it's more relevant. And we can bring you guys a lot of the behind the scenes. Look, we have a really good time when we film my show. Now that we're over the hump and we're not as stressed out as we used to be in the early days, we have a good time. I'm going to start inviting subscribers to come fish with me on the show. Why I haven't done that yet, I don't know. I'll smack myself upside the head. But I need to get some of you guys out and fishing with me on Kayak Bassin TV or Not Right Kayak Fishing on Sportsman Channel. And now we've moved over to Fox Sports Sun down in Florida. Pretty excited about that. So again, here's the deal. I am going to create a more dynamic relationship with you guys as subscribers, as fans, friends, followers, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I still am sometimes uncomfortable with exactly how to refer to that. I don't consider everybody fans. Subscribers seems a little bit disconnected, or whatever. You guys tell me how you want me to refer to you. I like to just say KBFers. We're all kayak bass fishermen, and I think of that as kayak, boat, and foot. So whether you're on the bank, whether you're on the boat, or whether you're on foot, we're all KBFers. We're all out there, trying to get bent and catch a fish and have a good time. And so we're going to bring you more of that. Okay. I started doing that last year with Gene. We got off track because life got in the way, but we've got the new headquarters now. We've got a lot more organization in our lives. We've moved past a few milestones to where we can do a little bit more of this, but we're going digital first. We're going to be able to do more teaching tactics. We're going to do more subscriber interviews. I'm going to bring some of you guys on for the split screen kind of video interview through a program that we have called Production Truck. And just do way more updating. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. We're going to provide way more content for you guys about what I do in my real life, a lot more vlog stuff, a lot more behind the scenes. So you see exactly how much work goes into doing what it is that we do here. And I think that we'll have fun with it. I think you guys will enjoy it. So we're going to do the toad trips. And then I've struggled with how to rename the Just the Tip series because it was brought to my attention that that's not the greatest term for somebody that's been a victim of sexual assault. Listen, I'm not the most PC guy in the world, and sometimes I'm like, man, that's way too much crap. But anytime something like that is such a hot button item or is that much of a negative thing for somebody, I'm going to get away from it, or I'm going to avoid it like the plague. I'm not going to be hard-headed and go, oh, whatever. So we're renaming that series as the Toad Tips. So we're going to break the Toad Tips out of the Toad Trips. Now, the reason that I'm not calling them Bass Tales is, granted, I love bass fishing, but we're going to do a lot more this year. So I don't want to be relegated to just I don't want to be relegated to just fishing for bass. Okay, we're going to fish for a little bit of everything. We launched our redfish series this year. I love fishing for muskie. I love fishing for trout. I love fishing for striper. I like fishing for, a lot of other species. And so because we're going to go after that, we're calling the series Toad Trips. I'm bringing back the Backyard Beatdown this year, so stay tuned for the release of some details on that. I'm not going to go crazy and try to do 10 of them. I'm probably going to do 1 the first year, and then 2 the second year, and then maybe 4 a year after that, like 1 per season or per quarter. And so I'm really excited about all the stuff that we've got going on. And man, we are going to bring you better drone shots. We're going to bring you better underwater shots. We're going to bring you more dynamic rigging. So what I'll do this year a lot, and I'm going to end with this, is I'm going to put up stuff on the community tab that asks you, what do you want to know about very specific topics? And instead of asking these overarching questions and then I save them and then they get lost in translation, I'm going to ask them, shoot them, deliver them. Ask them, shoot them, deliver them. And that's the commitment that I'm going to make to you guys. The one thing that I do need your help with is I am not going to do the gimmicky stuff that normally gets YouTube growth. So if I'm going to grow this channel, I need you guys to help me spread the word. if each one of you can reach one person and tell them about my channel, we can double. So if each one can reach one, we could double the size of the channel. If we double the size of the channel, that helps me with sponsors. That helps me with not having to force advertisements down your throat. It allows us to operate more independently and allows us to grow this community. Last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys that folks always post up, hey man, what can we do to help? I don't do Patreon. I don't do any of that gimmicky stuff. And, no offense to the people that do it. It just doesn't work for me because I feel like I've got to give you something more. So for the folks that want to support the channel, consider becoming a Kayak Bass Fishing member. Head over to the kayakbassfishing.com website, click on the drop-down tab, click on KBF store. You'll find different levels of memberships, or you can go to our website and search memberships, and there's a description of each one. But for $50 a year or $35 a year for the ambassador, we've got discounts for active military, or actually all who serve. We've got discount for all military. And then we've got a student membership. What that does is it gets you access to special discounts, special giveaways and promotions, makes you part of the KBF mob, which stands for, members only benefits, but it's also the mob. It's the brotherhood. And so, we're playing with making that as best we possibly can. The best way to get that to where it needs to be is to grow it. The more members that we have, the more sponsorship leverage that I have, which means there's more products that I can get to give back to you guys, more opportunity for all of us. Again, I thank you so much, literally from the bottom of my heart, for all the support you guys have given me over the years that helped us get to this point. But I think we're at a fundamental point and a fundamental place and change. We're changing directions for the positive, not for the negative, not change for the sake of change. But I want to make this a better channel that's entertaining, that's educational, that's informative, and all around a great place to come find information, to share ideas, to interact with other people. So get in the communities tab, get in the comment section and interact with the other anglers out there. I get in there and ask or interact as much as I possibly can. And I promise if you guys start doing that more, I'll start doing it more. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great day. I got to get back to work. I've got a lot of stuff to get done today and trying to set the shop up. So love y'all. Appreciate the support, and stay tuned for some new videos coming real soon.